Hello and welcome to the O Show. Here we are with the Oman Observer Show. And the Observer Show will be coming to you live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. from outdoors, of course. Today we are at this wonderful place at Shatil Kurum at the Costa Coffee. And as promised, we're all set to meet our guest, who is a very special person indeed, and her campaign, I think, for the life is mental health of all. So let's meet Her Highness Sayyida Basma Al-Said. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lakshmi, and thank you for bringing me on this amazing program. I've looked on it a lot of times and I thought, when is it going to be my turn? So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. And you have taken your campaign in life, mental health.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll try and just get parts of it. I started liking mental health since I was a student in high school, actually. And I used to find it always very interesting. I used to like knowing stories about people, trying to help them out. So it was something that I had a passion about from a long, long time. So it started from there, and then I asked my father if I could study in university. And maybe I told you the story before, where my father said, why do that? Why not do, IT or things that used to happen in the 90s, people used to study.
Yes.
So I did start studying IT in the Jordan University, but I didn't continue. I stopped it by the second semester, I think. And I told my father, please, can I pursue my dream of being a mental health counselor? And he said yes, and it's just skyrocketed from then.
Usually they say when it's to do with psychology or psychiatry, it's a bit difficult because you might take back into your house the problems you're discussing with your patients or clients. How do you call? Clients,
yes.
Okay.
We call them clients, actually.
Okay.
And
you call them your heroes because they come and
I
share
call
their
them my
life.
heroes, yes, because I really believe to be able to actually come and talk about things that are very personal to you in front of a stranger, because I'm a stranger in the end, I think that takes a lot of guts. And they do it very willingly and very, they actually come in and they think that their story is not important, but it ends up to be very important.
And how does a person's life open up chapter by chapter? It takes a skill, and that's why I guess it's important whom you reveal it to. Would you agree?
It depends, really. I always think, so a lot of people will say, why do I need to go to a therapist? I'll just talk to my friend or my sister or my family, right?
Yes.
But in the end, really, families hold something very emotional to you. So anything that happens to you, they'll really act emotionally. And maybe most of the time they won't also put in, the thinking and the emotion. They'll
On
just
the
put
logic.
Exactly. So when you come to a therapist, the therapist is a person that will not take sides, that will literally guide you to find a solution. So it's not telling you what to do, it's guiding you. So it's very, very different.
Okay. So let's move away from the seriousness and stiffness. Of course, we're on the couch,
Yes.
where you should be with when you're a psychologist with the psychologist.
Yeah.
But all of us need a psychologist at some point, and it really helps because it's all about mental health.
Yeah, actually, you know what? It's like checking in with someone. So a lot of people say, "Oh, how many times do I have to come?" Or then people are gonna call me names, all of that. And I tell them, you know what? It's just checking in. Like if you have something wrong with your heart or with your, your limbs, you'd go to a doctor, right? It's the same thing, but the difference is that you're talking.
Okay.
So it's always good to recharge.
Yeah.
Come back and just settle and say, you know what, this has been happening with me, and just check in. And there's nothing wrong with it at all. Not talking about things that bother you is what's wrong.
That's what I want to ask you next is when do you know you need some sort of assistance?
When you feel you can't balance things anymore. When you think things are unbalanced. A lot of people say this word of out of control. Okay? So out of control means I don't have control, I think things are out of control. And
Like anger outbursts or emotions?
So it's all in balance. So it's normal to be angry, it's normal to be anxious, to have fear, all of this is normal. But when it's unbalanced, if it's just over the top, then you do need to check. And a lot of people say, my sister has that, I should bring her to you. So no, if she doesn't feel it's time, then do not bring her to me, because she will sit down and
not open up.
She won't open up, so there's no use. and and also some parents bring their children. They're like, I'm going to bring my daughter, and you tell her. We are not people that are just here to tell you. We are people to guide, and this is, I think, the difference. So we have parents bringing their children, we have couples bringing in their wife or their husband, and they think that we're the people who are going to tell them. It's nothing about telling, it's more about guiding, and if they want to. So there's a slogan you probably know. We always use, change begins with you.
Yes.
And I truly believe in it. It's not only a slogan, it's something really true. Because today, if I tell you, Lakshmi, I need you to do this, you're like, okay. But if you feel the same way, it will work quicker. And that's exactly what it is.
That is motivation.
It does. And motivation has to come, part of it has to come within.
Do you think a lot of people are losing motivation or focus in life?
That is happening a lot these days, and I think they don't have the patience anymore. They want things to happen really fast, and when it doesn't happen, they get very disappointed and very dramatic. And we're like, if it's
expectations.
Not, and because it's really interesting. So now a lot of people know about psychology, and they read about psychology and all these words. So now a lot of people are actually blowing it out of proportion. I mean, we're happy that they're acknowledging it, but now it's become like, oh, don't talk to me because I think I have whatever. And they diagnose themselves, and it doesn't happen that way. So I think it's become, as much as people say, oh, it's a taboo, I'm finding it these days not really a taboo as much as, not fashion, but oh, I'll say this, then nobody will have
disturb
to deal.
you.
I don't have to deal with
yes.
anyone. Yeah.
I mean, they'll stay away.
Exactly, and I think that's what's been happening now. So it's getting mixed up with what really should be done.
And do you think depression is still got its stigma? And do you think it is actually become too common? Or are people able to accept it?
Look, I'll tell you something. I don't think, I mean, statistics do show that things have gone up in statistics around the world. Okay, statistics when it comes to mental health is never 100% accurate, because not everybody comes out and says.
Yes.
And if we come in terms of is it taboo or not, I still say, even though I said a few minutes ago that some people think it's kind of a fashionable thing or whatever, it's still a taboo, and it's going to always be a taboo, I think, because it's something very, very personal. So
and people consider it as a weakness.
Exactly.
Even in jobs, maybe.
Exactly. And they think if I tell someone that I have this, they're going to say, oh, we won't employ this person. And maybe that is the case. And some people don't understand what it is. They don't understand what you're doing is actually making the person feel even more sick. So in depression, it's actually good to get busy and do something.
Divert your mind.
Exactly. It's not the idea of I'm depressed, I should sit alone. The more you sit alone, the
more
it
you go
blows
in.
out of proportion
Yes.
and becomes a monster. The same thing with anxiety, with stress, with all of these things. So one should actually, as soon as they feel that they need to help themselves, they have to start and not say, oh, it will go away. It doesn't go
It doesn't
away.
go away?
If you're not
Time
going to
not will
work on
heal?
it, no, if you're not going to work on it, how's it going to go away?
That's heartbreaking. Because you usually say time will heal. Now I'm actually getting to know it may not.
So time, if we were to say time will heal, it will, but it will heal with me working on it.
Okay.
It's not a magic potion where I sit down and time will heal,
You're
Time
just
will heal,
getting
as in
used to it.
You'll adapt to it. So when people lose people, okay, people pass away, I don't believe that they will forget. Because why should they forget? If it's a
Yes.
nice, good person, why would you forget, right?
Yeah.
But with time you adapt. And there's a difference between adapting and getting used to it. It's adapting. So now, for example, if I walk outside, I know it's hot, so I know what to do.
Yes.
So you're adapting. So the heat
Right.
didn't stop
Yes,
being hot,
yes.
and you didn't stop being you. But now you know how to deal, how to adapt.
Now, Sayyida Basma is also involved with campaigns. Now, this is the 5th year. The campaign is called Not Alone. You've traveled across the country with the team and spread the word for the ladies and the children, and you've taken many causes like bullying in schools or families, and of course depression, I suppose. So mental health throughout.
Yeah.
Which do you think you came across more?
out of the symptoms, you mean?
Yeah, you call them as symptoms.
Yeah,
She's
symptoms.
a psychologist. Yeah.
I wouldn't say, I can't really pinpoint to say, oh, it's more of this and more of that. I always call them the triplets. So usually if there's depression, there's an anxiety, there's stress.
Okay.
You rarely will find someone depressed who isn't anxious, for example. So they're like triplets.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say, this is more than that or than the other. And we do have all of these things happening in Oman. So a lot of people tell me, does this actually happen here? This only happens, in the West, and it doesn't happen because of religion and all of those, ideas. It happens to everyone, every human on this earth, because in the end we're all the same. We're made out of the same, if you could say, I'm not going to say portion,
the DNA,
but
yes.
the same DNA. So obviously we will go through the same things. Of course, we will say this, and I say it again and again, that awareness is important, and awareness is more in the West. But symptoms, problems, we always hear, recently we've heard a lot about actors who've taken their lives.
Yes.
Big people who were always smiling and laughing, and we think, what? They were so happy, It's nothing about just smiling. You could be smiling and inside you're not that happy. And these are actors that are making us laugh, for example, Robbie Williams and all these actors. So I think now, it's not that, going back to your question, it's not that things have become worse. I actually think things are more visible now. People talk about it more. People talk about depression more. But a long time ago, do you think the news would bring about somebody who took their life? I don't think. I think that was a taboo a long time ago.
Yeah.
In any culture, that was a taboo.
You'd wipe it off
exactly.
or push it under the carpet.
Or you wouldn't say that.
Talk
this
what?
actor
Yes.
takes.
Yes.
I mean, an actress will
the
come
cost,
out and say,
yes.
I take antidepressant. They wouldn't say that. You just, or they have bipolar.
Yes.
But
Or
now,
even postnatal depression.
Exactly. But now they talk about it.
Yes.
And of course there is some symptoms as in technology and fast pace. Yes, it does make us a bit more, not well. But I think it was there, but nobody actually talked about it.
Because it's to do with mind.
Exactly.
And
it's
emotions.
those secrets. So some things inside of you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
You think they'll disappear with time, as you said, with time. They do appear. As much as you suppress stuff,
yes,
they do come out in some form.
Oh, this is interesting revelations. You're getting it right here. But she has a major event coming up in October, next month. And this is actually meant for everybody, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. So we have this really big event. I'm happy with this event, and it's good stress.
Yes.
Because it's an international event, and we're bringing international speakers, and this is the first time. So when we come to Not Alone, it's been running for 5 years. And Not Alone Stories, this is going to be the 7th Not Alone story. Not Alone Stories is people with real stories talking in front of an audience and making the audience interactive with the story. So it's not, PowerPoint, it's not like a lecture, it's actually a real story. And the reason why we focused on stories, because stories are very important in anyone's life. I mean, we talked about this. When you were a kid, what did you used to like? You used to like listening to stories. And up till today, even as adults, I mean, if you go out with your friends or your family, they'll be like, oh, did you hear? There's a story. It's a story. So it's real. And that's how we feel like, okay, this person's going through this, then I also go through this, and it's amazing. So it's going to be like a big group therapy.
Okay.
But it looks like more like speakers and audience. But when you think of it, it's a group of people. So we have different speakers talking about different topics. Altogether, we have around 14 speakers. We have international speakers and Omani speakers as well. We have picked them not because of their name alone, it's also because of their stories.
Okay.
And that was our point, to show how important these stories are. You might see this person and think, what, they have a problem? It doesn't look like they have a problem, but they had a problem and they worked through it. So it's going to be on the 5th and the 6th of October. There's workshops in it as well. And there's tickets that are going to be sold tomorrow. So they're exclusive for you.
Okay. Good.
And it's for amount of money. The amount of money is going to go half for the Association for Disability for Children, and the other half we're working on an app to help children learn about abuse and how to save themselves from any type of these things that might happen to them.
This is a very interesting app. Would it be launched during the
We hope
2
so.
days?
We
Okay.
hope so.
It's
And,
called Ziana and Zaid.
It's the two characters are
Yes.
Ziad and Zaina.
And it's going to be a telephone, mobile
It's going
app.
to be a mobile app.
Okay.
Because we wanted everybody to use it, and we're not only focusing on Oman. So, a lot of people say, "Oh, this is a good thing for Oman. This, this forum, not a conference." And I say, "Yeah, it's good for Oman, and it's even nicer that it comes out of Oman."
Yeah.
So it's for humanity as well. So it's not just for one country; it's for more than one country, for humans. And it's lovely if we can present that to the world.
Not Alone is a name, and I always wondered, Sayyida Basma, is it because people are lonely actually? Because they, like you said, they hold the secrets because
Yeah.
they're afraid of being judged.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So the real reason why it's called Not Alone is because a lot of our patients will come and say, "Am I the only one that has this, that, and the other?" And we'll say, "No, there's other people too." But the other reason that people think I chose Not Alone was because of Michael Jackson's song, "You Are Not Alone."
Yes.
And it's interesting because Michael Jackson did
Yes,
feel alone.
yes.
So it's kind of a full circle. So
Yes.
that's another person
And maybe
who
he
gave so much
expressed it,
joy
yes.
and made us all happy, but he was not happy. So that is exactly why it's called Not Alone. And in Arabic, it's called Nahnu Ma'ak. It's we're with you. So a lot of people were telling me, but by the way, Not Alone, it's not the same translation. And I tell them it's nothing to do about translation. It's a full circle.
Yes.
It's connected.
Yes.
And that was the whole idea. Yeah.
So this is the O Show, Oman Observer Show, and I'm so glad you could be with us. And you're always welcome to join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. And of course, also give your questions to us. I don't know if you have given the questions out today. And Sayyida Basma will be actually having the event on October 5th.
October 5th and 6th. And it starts from 8:30 to 6 o'clock. And we would love to see everybody participate, because actually this is one of the events where you also, as a participator, will be giving back.
Because you'll be sharing stories or asking the questions.
And you'll be buying the tickets to help out things in society, as in the Association of Disability and the app for children.
She's been a psychologist, practicing psychologist for 18 years. So my final question to you is, what would you like to tell us for our mental health?
Well, mental health, there isn't really one answer to that, because the mind evolves every day. So when people say, what would be your only advice?
Yeah,
I
it's
keep on telling
tricky.
them, maybe I'll have another advice after a month. But I would say one word, just stay mindful.
Mindful.
Yes.
How do you practice mindful?
Exactly, you practice it. So
Okay.
you need to keep on trying to train your mind to be mindful. It's not an easy thing, but once you can do it, it really helps you. And it's a good practice. I myself started it only recently,
Okay,
and I'm finding it very, very useful.
good. That would be simple things as like being where you are,
Being
your
in the here and now.
surroundings.
So, for example, you're talking to me now.
like the smell of coffee and things like that?
Exactly. You have to take the aroma, the smell, the sounds, and not
Music,
think about
okay.
what am I going to do after the show.
Oh,
There you go.
yes, being
Yes.
here, 100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
as
you
well.
so much.
Thank you.
Sayyida
And I
Basma.
appreciate being in this talk. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have a long journey, and Costa Coffee, thank you so much for your effort being part of it with us. And so, this is what we got to say. Oh, follow us.
Please do, Support.
And we're going to be somewhere with them again.
Yes. Let's keep it a secret, or do you want
Are
to
you
tell
looking-
them later?
I don't know. You want to?
I think you should be with us on the event. What do you think?
Think so too.
Please come and you'll see Lakshmi live.
Thank you for being